Dodge seat cover, 57 inches wide, gray denim, 2 layers of it, as you can see. And just kind of folded the corners there. First I measured around it to see where I would mount it to. Grommets are going to be used to attach it. And of course, since it's only so long, I'll be extending this. I'll be folding this under, and the other side under, and having another 2 layers sandwiched in between that. It'll come over here. Of course, it'll go under this, and it'll attach to the rest of the grommet network under here. So that's the plan. So far, so good. So I just kind of pinned up the edges here. When I had it folded, I had them pinned up a little bit. Then I kind of folded this over in half to get it a little bit symmetrical. And I brought it up a little bit more, since when the grommets are being pulled, it's going to pull it a little bit tighter. So I went up a little bit higher with this from here to here or so. And this is also going to be folded under about 5/8 of an inch. So what I did with the other side, I just brought this corner under, and so this doesn't get disrupted, I laid this heavy paper on top of it. So folded it under, and now you can see I have this already pinned up and ready to sew. And I am gonna leave a little bit of excess in there. I might cut out some. Yeah, more than likely I'll be cutting out some of that excess inside there. But I just set this in place so things don't shift around too much. So stuff stays fairly aligned. And as you can see, I haven't done that with the other side yet. It's still just kind of roughly pinned up. Nothing is marked. I'm going to do the same thing with it. Just kind of fold it over on the other side, line things up a bit, bring it up a little bit more, and then do what I'm doing here. Here I've began sewing the grommet reinforcement stitches. As you can see, we just place a grommet piece around and trace around it in the inside. Then we'll sew the reinforcement stitches around the edge. Now this is the to cut out the hole. I'm thinking what I think I will end up doing, since that is a little bit on the big side and I expect it to fray a small degree, what I will probably do is have a slightly smaller hole, let it fray a little bit, and then stick in the opposite edge, the opposite piece of the grommets. This piece right here. Stick that in there, and then continue to actually put the grommets into place. But those reinforcement stitches should ensure that they actually stay in place for quite some time to come, at least a lot longer than they ever would without any kind of reinforcement. So I've punched out a little hole here, and then I'll fiddle with it and cut it up just a little bit. It'll look like that or so before I get done with it, and I'll fit, when I am able to fit this through there, it'll look something like this. And when I finally get it done and completed, it looks like this, which actually it looks pretty nice, I have to say. And it's in there fairly solid, like it seems. So that's the progress. So here is the initial test. Just got some cheap nylon twine to tie on here. It's still fairly loose. What's next to pattern out will be the edges here. I have a piece that extends. I may get the seam ripper to those ends. Just have a piece kind of extending down and sewn onto here. I've already kind of folded these in to kind of have an idea of where that piece will go. And then of course that will be another grommet or so underneath. I may end up making 2 grommets under there. It'll have to go under this guy. So yes, I think I may well be better with 2 grommets there. we'll see what happens. So here I am patterning out the side. Just use a regular piece of fabric here. I admit it's a little tricky, but so far so good. That's gonna be kind of folded under, and this will have to be sewn just a little bit here. So maybe I can make that fairly nice and neat. Maybe a little something there, but otherwise it should be pretty nice looking. And this is the only particularly well, I guess I got these two. Shouldn't be too difficult though. So far, the next step is to take this off and then do it with the denim. So I had this corner pinned together here, and I measured from down here to up there. It's about 4 inches, 4 1/4 inches. Then I put pins just at the ends of the edges. I unfolded it and I measured 2 inches. And also, while it was folded, I measured 3 inches from here, and I made a little diagram for my reference. So that's about it. Now it's time to sew the darts, and because it's 2 layers, I'm just going to have to sew 2 on each side. And here it is, 2 inches here. Just kind of measured out 3 inches, drew some lines, and we're going to have this folded over. And we'll stick it together and dart it on the wrong side. And we'll have our darts. Here we have our side piece laid out. I've just traced around it. I also traced where the actual, more so where the actual seam will be. So you can see it there. And what we will have to do, or what I will have to do, is pin along the edges here and try to cut that out as one piece, even though it is actually 2 pieces, because this is doubled. And I will also have to make sure that since this is the wrong side and this is the wrong side, that I'll have to swap out the pieces. So I pinned it up and cut it out. As you can see, I decided to make a little modification here. I cut an allowance here because this will actually be folded inward just like this around the edges and then sewn into our existing seam over there. And this is the right side facing out. This is the wrong side and this is the right side. So the actual tracings are underneath, and this is where the actual front end of the seat will be. So I made a little mark there because this is going to be folded under again and sewn all around, and so much of this much of that fold is going to go and meet the edge of what's over here. So that's folded in too. So the edge and basically the 2 folds will be right under there, and I'll just sew it double, 2 layers, and of course I will come back down here later and finally sew this double on each end, and that'll be finished. Well, I won't sew this, there's no seam there. So that'll be it for the front anyway. As you can see, I've sewn it here. I guess you could call this machine basting, because I just used regular thin thread, no heavy duty nylon. And I'm gonna put this under here where it belongs, and then I'm gonna use the heavy duty nylon thread to sew one seam here, 1 stitch alongside there, and then eventually I'll be sewing this again. And what I'll probably end up doing is going around the whole entire thing again. Of course, this will be part of this once that's done. There. So stick this underneath in between here, sew it around, and as you can see, I'll have to undo this, and I'll have to undo this with a seam ripper. I'm sure these probably will not be aligned all that well. I'll try to align them as much as I can, but sure they probably won't be. So once I get that done and I get these lined up, I can continue sewing from here all the way around, back around, with one stitch, or at least one set of stitches running all the way around from here and all the way around there. So that's the plan. So after wrestling with it a little bit, here's what we got pinned up and ready to go. Kind of had to align these a little bit, put a little bit more slacking on this edge here. As you can see, this lined up pretty good. Cut off a little bit from that so it'll fit nicely under there. And sew it up nice and neat. So I'll probably sew into here a little bit, then I'll turn around and then I'll sew all the way into here. And of course all the way around back to right here. I'm going to start here and then I'm going to finish there. And then of course do it again to have two. And then of course I got to do this side again too. So it's looking good. Thought I would show you what it looks like underneath the machine. I had to actually lift it up a little bit to fit it under there. But I think once I get down to here, I should be able to let it all the way down without a problem.